Have you ever looked at a couple and wonder, how did they meet? Did they meet off an app? So many people meet off dating apps these days. The question is, which app? H? If you find someone from H, I'm sorry. You might join the TikTok group of who the fork did I marry? Because for some reason, just all horror stories start with H? Or did they have like one of those movie like old school moments like
the moment that I saw her out in the rain outside the gas station, I knew she was the one.
It's dramatic, okay? It's cute though, and it's so memorable. Say that a couple's union did start like that. Lovey-dovey, kissy face, all day, every day. I want to be with you 24/7. My question is, how did it go from that to when they look at each other, their faces look like two people locked inside a room after 3 billion people just farted inside of it. When one of them talks, the other one's like this. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know that couple? I feel like I'm that couple sometimes. I'm guilty of that. Like sometimes I can't stand you, but we cannot do it full time. If we do that full time, we might have a problem. So right now, I want you to picture a couple like that. One of them literally can't stand the other, but that other one wants them badly. Because that is exactly what is happening in our story today. Eden wants her husband of 10 years badly. She wants him all to herself. She wants them to work again. So one day, she tells him, why don't we start over? Let's move to the countryside, just the two of us. A renaissance for us, especially now that our daughter has left the nest. Perfect timing. And he agrees. So they make the move. He buys her the quirky house that she loves. She furnishes it. He comes home only to her. But one day, she goes missing. And he gets rid of everything that belongs to her. Her clothes, photos of her, their photos together. And he even changed the bed sheets hours after she goes missing. When the police interviews the husband asking why they made the move to the countryside, he tells them, we moved here because my wife dreamt of living by the sea. She had this strange obsession with the ocean. Nothing made her happier. She was happy here. Do you hear it? Why? The fork is Eden's husband talking about her in past tense as if he knows she's already dead. The husband knows that the detectives think that he's guilty and he hates the way that they look at him. But he also knows that one of them will be dead in a few days. And by then, the other detective will never be able to catch him because he will be long gone. This is our agenda today. We are going to finish the story of the book called My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. Okay, if you came here from part 1, welcome, you beautiful creature. If you have not watched part 1 or listened to part 1, don't worry, no worries. I got a recap coming up just for you, okay? Today, we are going to figure out who is Eden? Who the fork is the husband? What the fork did he do? Is he really guilty? Where is he going? What happened to Eden and her husband in the past 10 years? Guys, brain twisty, okay? This is by far one of my favorite books from her. I could feel the atmosphere and the anxiety and my last 2 brain cells fighting each other. Like, you know, when you put too much clothes in the washing machine, it goes... It was exactly like that. Alice Feeney is no stranger in the world of thriller. Her books are always trending. Rock, paper, scissors. Beautiful, ugly, his and hers. Which is now streaming on Netflix. It was so good, okay? I loved it. If you enjoy that, you might also enjoy this story as well. The same people who made All Her Fault, another amazing series, is making My Husband's Wife into a mini-series, if I'm not wrong. I am so excited, okay? I so enjoy All Her Fault. With that said, Link in the description box below if you want to grab a copy and read it with me. Check out the audiobook if you want to. It's great, okay? It's read by Belle Powley. I know Belle Powley from The Morning Show, and oh my god, her voice should be illegal because she makes me shy. When her voice goes husky. But stop flirting. You're gonna behave. You're gonna put your phone, your tablet, your TV aside. We're gonna unravel the secrets of my husband's wife layer by layer. Right now, we're gonna do a quick recap first. If you're like, girl, I remember what happened, you can skip forward. I will have it timestamped, okay? Otherwise, you are sitting right here with me, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you already know Eden and her husband, so let's put faces to them. Eden, full name Eden Fox. That's a hot name. You cannot deny it. You cannot be not hot and have this name. So I want you to picture Penelope Cruz. Beautiful, gorgeous, breathtaking woman. She's petite. She's in her 30s. She got long blonde hair. She loves her husband of 10 years very much. Her husband, well, her suspicious husband is Harrison Wolf with the double O instead of F. He's 10 years older than her. He's 40 something. And Eden thinks that her husband is the type to age like fine wine. So I want you to picture someone like that. Maybe Brad Pitt. Anyone that you think age like fine wine. George Clooney. I don't know. Harrison Wolf owns one of the most successful tech pharma companies in London. And for the past 10 years, Eden neglected herself to take care of their daughter around the clock, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And she hated it. She wanted to spend time around the clock with her husband, not her daughter. Sometimes she wishes that her daughter was never born, but she kept it to herself until their daughter turned 18. Gabriella Wolf is the name of their daughter. She is Harrison's soul, but Eden does not care. She wants Gabby away from them. When Harrison agrees to starting over, Renaissance, just two of us, he and Eden bought a home in a fishing village by the countryside called Hope Falls. Like, I hope you're well, but don't fall. Hope Falls. I want you to picture vast green lands to your left and a huge blue ocean to your right. That is Hope Falls. So much nature and zero TikTok. It's great, especially without Gabby. Until one evening, Eden slots in her key to her own home. The key doesn't even go in. She could have sworn that she had done this a million times. So she knocks on the door. And a woman who looks exactly like her opens the door. That woman opens her mouth and says, "Hi, I'm Eden Fox. Can I help you?" Eden's like, wait, what? Is this a joke or something? Like what? Is this like identity theft? Like, why would someone choose her though? Like, she and Harrison are not cash rich. Then her own husband, Harrison, walks towards the door, puts a protective arm over her imposter, and tells Eden, "We don't know you. Please leave." This is when Eden starts freaking out. What is she supposed to do? What the fork is happening? She doesn't know what to do. So she hides and she waits. And she sees a policeman pulls up to the house and then speak with Harrison, and he leaves. Then she sees Harrison leave their home with her imposter. She knows exactly where they're going. They are going to Eden's first art exhibition. Eden has always wanted to be an artist, and today was supposed to be her debut. But why is her partner of 10 years going along with some sort of sick play? Why? So Eden runs to the village, and there they are inside one of the shop lots. Is her imposter and Harrison, hand in hand, looking at each other in a way that he used to look at her. She was going to confront them like right then and there, but she gets arrested instead. And nothing is in her favor because the young police dude is not buying whatever Eden is saying. He tells Eden the only Eden Fox that we know in this village is the one at the gallery. Now we just need to figure out who you are. Stop lying. Eden has no ID, no phone, nothing. She pulls out her house key with a keychain. Harrison gave her this after he bought Spyglass, their new home, for Eden. Okay, so the name of their new home in Hope Falls is called Spyglass because her house is located on the hill and it has huge round windows that look like eyes. From the village where she is right now, you can see her house. It looks like two big eyes spying the village. Okay, it's quirky, it's cute. That is why Eden chose Spyglass to be her new home with Harrison. Harrison had that keychain made. Eden on one side, on the other side, love you to the moon and back. That was what he would always tell her. But who are we kidding? That is not a form of ID. So the police looks her up on the internet and he finds an Instagram account with Eden's full name on it, but the imposter's face as the profile photo. Now, she's done. Okay, she's done. She got no friends. She got no family members to back her identity. Harrison is for some reason playing along with this. But if you remember, she has a daughter. She still has her daughter, Gabriella. So she escapes from the police, breaks into Spyglass, grabs her car keys, and drives to her daughter. Abby is about 1 hour drive away from Hope Falls. She lives in a very fancy rehab center called The Manor. I want you to picture luxurious hotel with high ceiling, Mozart playing in the background. Everyone's wearing white and they are way too polite to a point where it's getting creepy. The reason why Gabby is in a rehab center and why Eden had to take care of her around the clock for 10 years is because Gabby was in a gruesome accident when she was just 8 years old. Eden still remembers what happened that day. She was riding her bicycle around the neighborhood a day after she graduated from her training wheels. And Gabby kept riding her bicycle. She didn't come home until it was dark out and the sky was pouring. Eden was worry sick the entire time. She was waiting for her to come back, for Harrison to come back, or for the police to show up. Then she heard the police siren approaching her home, and then she ran out to see why the police car has stopped. The police did not see Gabby riding her bicycle in the rain, and they had hit her. And since then, Gabby has gone through numerous treatments, different cares. Her body healed, but the trauma was just too much. And Gabby has never muttered a word since. For 10 years, back to Eden at the manor. Eden was shocked to see Gabby's room is filled with paintings of Spyglass. She has never been to Hope Falls or Spyglass. Eden wants Gabby away. That's why she kept her away. So how does Gabby know what her new home looks like? When Gabby is told, "Your mommy is here to see you," by the nurse, Gabby glares at Eden and she whispers her first words to Eden in 10 years. "She is not my mother." Eden's world just collapsed right there in front of her. 10 years. And this is how they treat her. She runs out of Gabby's room straight into her car and she keeps driving until her car dies somewhere between Hope Falls and the manor. And then a phone starts to ring in the glove compartment of the car. She takes it out. It's not her phone. It's a phone inside a plastic bag. Someone had texted saying, "Everything's going to be fine, Eden. Meet me at our special place at sunrise. Love you to the moon and back." This has to be from Harrison, the love of her life. She gets out of her car. She runs straight to Hope Falls. Our special place is a picnic spot in Hope Falls. It's up on a cliff, beautiful sunset spot. However, that is also a very popular self-exit spot. Back to Eden. Eden keeps running and running until she reaches the top of the cliff and she waits and waits. Harrison is still not there. Then she hears soft footsteps behind her, and the next thing Eden knows, she's falling off the cliff off their special place. Eden Fox is dead, broken at the bottom of the cliff with the waves desperately trying to get a grip on her. But who killed her? Who was walking towards her? Was it Harrison or was it someone else? Her imposter? These questions are for two investigators in Hope Falls to answer. So let me introduce you to the investigators. Investigator number 1, Olivia Bird. We're gonna call her Birdie, okay? I want you to picture Kate Blanchett. She's edgy. She got a full sleeve of tattoos. Oh my god, that is so hot. She speaks with no filter. She's like scary, intimidating, but she's a softie at heart if you really get to know her. She's 40-something. Birdie has no friends, no family members. She only has her huge, fluffy husky, Sunday. Unfortunately, Birdie just found out a few months ago that she has cancer, and her doctors couldn't even tell her how much time she got left. Then a while later, she quit her job, her position in London, and started working as a senior detective in Hope Falls. Now, I should tell you that this is not her first time in Hope Falls. Her grandmother passed earlier this year, and she left Birdie her house on the hill with the windows that look like eyes. Spyglass. So technically, Birdie sold spyglass to Harrison and Eden. She didn't know them though. She did it through like a middleman. Birdie started working in Hope Falls about a day after Eden died. So it was quite a first day if you ask her. That is Birdie, the senior detective from London that got transferred to Hope Falls. Investigator number 2, Luke Carter. I want you to think of Dylan O'Brien, okay? He's young, he's tall, he's handsome. He looks like he's playing police dress up. He looks like he is 30-something, maybe even younger, but this dude, for some reason, got some game. Like, let me tell you, if you and I are in this story, we would be fighting over this guy. For some reason, all the girls go crazy over Kara. He is the OG investigator, aka police. He's the police officer who arrested Eden and brought her to the station. Remember, he grew up in Hope Falls and he never wanted to leave. He believes Hope Falls is not where bad things happen. When Birdie first got here, he was very unhappy about it because he strongly believes that they should have promoted him to senior detective instead of sending some senior detective from London to Hope Falls. But he also cannot deny that Birdie is sharp and much more experienced than him. And he cannot deny that he is attracted to Birdie, like they slept together. And let me tell you, okay, immediately after they slept together, Carter looked at her and told her, wow, that was like so good. Best I ever had. And you know, if you tell someone that, you want to hear it back. But Birdie was like, yeah, I mean, like, it was okay. But yeah, next question. Birdie cannot deny that they do share some deep chemistry though. We're gonna deep dive into all the romantic mess together between these two and also all the ladies. But right now, let's talk about what Carter thinks of Harrison. At first, Carter was like, Harrison, he is so innocent. Like, he came to me, to my office to speak with me without me asking him to. Obviously, he has nothing to hide, but his answers were kind of weird when I asked him questions. But yeah, he is innocent. But now, after he saw how Harrison changed the sheets and took out all the photos of his wife from their new home after she's gone, Carter thinks he's guilty. I mean, can you blame Carter? Harrison is dressed to the nines in guilty. Just to remind you, right now, at this point of the story, there are currently 2 Eden Fox. The Eden that we know and her imposter. One is dead, the other one's missing. Only Harrison knows who is or was the real Eden Fox. Birdie and Carter need to figure this out, and Birdie is running out of time. She knows it, and Harrison knows it. How? Let me tell you, okay? When Birdie was diagnosed, she wanted to know when she would pass. So she used Harrison's super advanced tech pharma company without knowing that he owns it. It's called Thananos. His company has the technology to predict someone's exact date of death. The whole process was very eerie. They asked too much question and had way too much information on Birdie, but she got what she wanted, her exact end date. And since Harrison handled her case personally, he knows that Birdie is going to die in a few days. This is where we left off in part 1, bestie. Okay, now that you are all caught up, what do you think? Who do you think so far is the killer? Tell me in the comment section below and I will tell you what else is going through Harrison's mind right now, okay? Okay, right now, Carter and Birdie has just left Spyglass. Harrison is alone and he's doubting himself, like maybe he shouldn't have been so obvious changing the sheets and removing photos of your wife after she goes missing. That is going to scream suspicious, but he had to get rid of her, the sight of her, the smell of her. Not to worry though, because the police got nothing on him. Technically, they only have a hairbrush, and that's about it. Stupid of them to not check the kitchen, because the black velvet dress that Eden wore to the exhibition before she died or went missing was inside that rubbish bin. And seeing that dress brings Harrison back. Back when his relationship with Eden was hot, steamy, passionate, he still remembers the first moment he saw her in that dress for the first time. Oh my God, how badly he wanted her right then and there. But things are obviously different now. He grabs the dress and throws it into the fire. How could she do this? How could she keep their daughter away from him? Gabriella Wolf is the only person Harrison loves and cares for, and Eden hated her, and he knows it. Harrison wanted to be by their daughter's side no matter what. He didn't really want to move here. Plus, he didn't even see why Eden loved this quirky house, and he hated the library. Harrison Wolf hates all library. They remind him of his mother. She loved books. She would rather spend money on books than on him when he was a little boy. She said to him one day, one of the worst things that you can ever say to another human being: you will never amount to anything. Harrison, good thing that he's not just another human being, because he took that and turned it into determination. From that point, he became the smartest, most hardworking, and the highest achieving in any room. But one question remains. When the hell would his mother die? That's when he created his company, Thananos. He spent years trying to perfect it, and then he got it right. His mother's end date was Thananos' first successful product. But that does not erase his hatred towards his mother, and that damn library in his own home is still taunting him, sitting there waiting for him to break it. One evening, he got so pissed, he went inside the library and smashed it into pieces. And then he suddenly stopped because one part of the shelves felt like he was hitting a fake wooden panel. He ripped it out, and inside the panel is a lever. Like in the movies, he pulled the lever and the shelves start to part in the middle. Not very wide, just a very small gap. He puts a hand in between the opening and he pushed it open. And then he sees a door. What do you think? Do you think he goes in? Where does it go? To find out, we are gonna have to go back to Carter, okay? Because he has the answer, so I need you to listen closely. As soon as Carter and Birdie step out of Spyglass, he keeps telling Birdie how he thinks that Harrison is guilty. He's probably lying about something. He keeps going on and on and on as they are walking to the pub. Let me tell you more about this pub. We know that from part 1 that Birdie would much rather not use the police station because it looks like a cottage. Cosplaying as a police station, she would much rather work at the pub, although she doesn't drink. At this pub, she can be with her dog, she can work, and she can listen to the ocean in the distance. Guys, it's a dream, okay? Anyway, it's at this moment that Birdie finds out Carter is actually related to this pub. Carter's sister, Maddie, runs this pub. Maddie, I want you to picture Emma Stone. Maddie and Carter, they don't look alike. Maddie got natural beauty, gorgeous red hair. She's in a way like Birdie, very smart, no BS, very blunt. Maddie is also very protective over her family, especially her little brother, Carter. Maddie runs this pub now, but before her, it was her parents. They ran this pub for over 30 years, and if they had the choice, they would keep running it. The reason why Maddie's running it instead of her parents is because their parents was so heartbroken that they didn't have enough money to buy the pub when the landlord was selling it, that they decided that they would leave Hope Falls forever. They have no plans on coming back. I mean, imagine you grow up somewhere, you love where you grew up, and suddenly that place becomes super touristy and everything becomes way too expensive. It's disheartening to know that you can't keep living there just because other people decide that they want to be there and they can pay more. And you don't run a business or get a job in Hope Falls to become a billionaire, all right? Billionaires are probably the one buying properties in Hope Falls for fun. So yeah, Maddie and Carter's parents were so heartbroken that they left, and later their mother was diagnosed with cancer. It took her toll on the family. Maddie is running this pub now because this is probably the only way that she can feel closer to her parents. Maddie tells Birdie, "Life's hard, but it was worse for Carter. I am 7 years older than him. He's just 28. Our parents left when he was in his early 20s, and I felt like it was up to me, to take care of him. When the previous Hopeful police officer retired, he took over. He's doing a pretty good job if you ask me, but he never really grew up, in some ways. This was the only home he knew. When he was younger, he would always dream about smugglers coming to Hope Falls and them using some sort of secret tunnels in the cellar. He's still convinced until this day that there are tunnels below us connecting here to the bay, but he never found them." And this conversation would change how Birdie thinks of Carter, because before this, she just thought of him as this simple-minded dude who never want to leave his village. Maybe Carter has more substance to him than she thought. So in Birdie's fashion, she approaches Carter to basically apologize for taking his dream job, and she tells him that she does respect him. And to just prove how much she respects him, she sends him out to take a walk with her dog Sunday by the bay. And he's like, "Darn what, girl?" But he does it anyway. Sunday does this thing where if you whistle a certain way, he will come running right back to you. He's never on a leash. I believe he's a very good boy. However, girlies, if you cannot whistle or roll your R's like me, we are losing Sunday. So Carter brings Sunday out for a walk along the bay. But the thing is, Carter belongs with us. Carter does not know how to whistle. So the moment that Sunday walks into the ocean, he starts panicking. He started magic miking into the ocean. He is ripping off his uniform and everything, and then someone behind him whistled exactly the way that Birdie whistled. And Sunday comes running back from the ocean. Carter turns and he sees a figure in black. He cannot see their face, but from the silhouette, it looks like a man. Carter runs after them and he loses them. Okay, this police guy, Carter guy, he dares to tell me I was the fastest runner, the best when it comes to anything physical when I was in the police academy. Really? Are you sure, Carter? Because I feel like you are lying to me. Or was the whole program designed by your grandmother? Anyway, to Carter, this guy literally just disappeared, like poof, into the air. Then he tells us, "I might be mistaken, but the person I saw looked a lot like Harrison Wolf Let me ask you this right now, girl. How do you think that Harrison got from Spyglass to the bay? Could have been Harrison, could have not been Harrison, but now Carter's phone is ringing and someone tells him a body is found on the bay. I assume that this bay is freaking huge. While Carter was walking Sunday on one end, a swimmer found a body on the other end. So Carter runs back to the pub, grabs Birdie, and walks towards the other side of the bay where the body is. Carter is tall, okay? He is tall. His one step is Birdie's 5 step. Like, she's trying to keep up. But girl, she's dying in a few days. Give her a break. So he slows without Birdie asking him to, and he tells Birdie about the bay. This is called the Blackwater Bay. Isn't she beautiful? You can only get here by foot. It's quite concealed from the rest of the village, and I've heard from 100 years ago, smugglers used to sail to this bay and transport everything that they have stolen from here to Spyglass. There are secret tunnels connecting here to Spyglass, but I could never find them. I've been trying though since I was a kid. What do you think? Let me know, or keep your answer to yourself until the twist. When Birdie and Carter get to the body, they see that the body is facing down, face on the sand, and her back towards the sky. It's a woman wearing the same thing that the missing woman was reportedly wearing. Simple tee, jeans. Her hair matches Eden's description. Long blonde hair, and her height too. She seems petite. We know that this is Eden Fox, the Eden Fox that we know, but they don't know this for sure yet. The swimmer who found the body is the gallery owner. So crazy, right? If you really think about it. Just a day ago, this lady had Eden's artwork displaying in her gallery, and now here they are. Back to the scene. The gallery owner tells Birdie and Carter that usually nobody is around at this bay at this time, but she always swims after lunch, and while she was swimming, she saw the body just floated towards the shore. So she carried it to the sand and called the police. The gallery owner had to flip the body over because the seagulls were feeding off her face. Her face is crushed in. Even she cannot recognize who it is. So Birdie flipped the body over, and Carter immediately feels sick. This is probably the first time he sees anything like this, and this annoys Birdie. She believes that being a police, you are going to see gruesome things and not pretty things, but Birdie also has a lot of opinions on how a body is just a failure in waiting. She says, Carter, to work this job, you have to unsee what we have to see. Our body is brilliant, but weak. It's a miracle, but it's a failure in waiting. A body is a walking, talking life support machine, but it will fail you. And when it stops, you will stop living. And depending on your popularity, you will likely be forgotten, as if you never existed. A body is a prison that gives you a life sentence and determines your death. That is all a body is. It's quite scary to think about our body that way, but coming from Birdie, knowing what she knows, we see how she feels about it, and it's understandable that she feels this way. She asks Carter to call HQ for support, and she leaves to go see Harrison. It makes perfect sense for her to go see Harrison and tell him about this because she matches his wife's physical description other than the face. But when she knocks on Spyglass's front door, nobody opens the door. He calls Harrison. He doesn't even pick up the phone. Why would he do this? What was he doing? Maybe he was showering when Birdie knocked on his door. Maybe. But you gotta check your phone, right? You are CEO of a company like that. You gotta check your phone. The truth is, when Birdie knocked on his door, he was showering. Just before that, he was burning his black top and black joggers. And before that, he was whistling at Sunday to come back from the ocean. After the day that Harrison found the hidden door behind the shelves in his home library, he used it earlier today to get from Spyglass to the bay. Okay, he crawled through the tunnel and he kept walking with his phone. He kept walking and walking and following the tracker of the phone that Eden died with. Remember, Eden found the phone in the car and then she saw the text and then she ran up to the cliff and then she died. Harrison knew that her body was drifting back to shore because the phone survived the fall. It was inside a plastic bag tucked inside Eden's jeans. He kept following it until he sees Eden. At this point, the gallery owner was probably alerting the police, so she was away. And we don't have to guess because he tells us the moment that he sees the body, he knew that it belonged to Eden, his wife of 10 years. But he didn't cry. When he saw her, he just walked up to her with seagulls still feeding off his wife's face, grabbed the phone from her pocket, and he left her right there. When he was walking back to the tunnel to get back to Spyglass, he saw stupid Carter magic miking into the ocean. So he whistled, all right, to get Sunday to come back. Then this stupid Carter chased after him. Good thing he got to the tunnel in time. Carter didn't know where the tunnel was. He probably thought that he just disappeared. Harrison after that crawled through the damp, dark, cold tunnel from the bay all the way back to his library. Then he closed the door behind him, pushed the lever to close the gap, and then he burned his black clothes and went into the shower. And then he reminds himself, I am doing this for her. If anyone calls again today, I will not answer the phone. If anyone comes to the house, I won't open the door. I just need to keep a low profile for the next day or so and try not to say or do anything stupid. At this point, I guess we could just, collectively agree to arrest Harrison Wolf to serve some time without evidence because this man keeps making it worse for himself. But you know how in thriller books, that is not always the case. Sometimes the most guilty one is the most innocent one. So let's find out if that is really the case. I hope that you forgive the redness on my nose. It's itchy. That evening, Birdie would meet up with Carter late again at night. And let me tell you, okay, I don't think it's a good idea to meet someone that you have chemistry with late at night because it's just different, At night, the air is different. The moon is out, so our emotions play tricks on us. Anyway, back to Carter and Birdie. He was busy all night doing the paperwork with the HQ. He was only able to report back to Birdie by nighttime. So we know that he thinks that Harrison is guilty. But whenever he brings up interviewing Harrison's daughter, Birdie would shoot it down almost immediately, saying they didn't need to do that because she does not want any trouble with a powerful man like Harrison. But it does not make sense because if they are looking for Eden, shouldn't they talk to both Eden's husband and daughter instead of just one of them? It's not like he's trying to arrest her, but Birdie shoots him down every single time. She tells him, we don't want any trouble with Harrison, so I think you should go home and get some rest. As soon as Birdie finishes her sentence, stands up, her face turns pale. There's so much pain flooding through her body. Carter knows something is wrong, but he doesn't know what. So he asks, how can he help? And like I said, guys, the air is just different when it's nighttime, okay? I love it when my man does more than I ask. It's hot, initiatives. It's hot. But then again, why do I have to ask? Back to Carter and Birdie, okay? Carter asks, and Birdie tells him grab her meds. Instead of doing that, he carries her to her room and bring her some crackers and a drink. And this is how the cookie crumbles. Birdie leans close to Carter, kisses him, and they do the freaky ding dong. Guys, they have got chemistry and I love it for them for now. And tonight, Birdie lets Carter spend the night. If you come from part one, you know that first time they did it, Birdie is like, what are you doing? Go. But this time is different. This time it means something. But Carter would not stay for long because that morning before Birdie wakes, he leaves for the manor. Carter is not buying it. It does not make sense for them to not speak with Gabby. So he drives to the manor, requests to see Gabby. And the nurse walks him up to room 13, Gabby's room. And as they are walking, the nurse tells Carter about the accident, how she started whispering. The nurse continues. Gabriella has made really good progress. She eats well, she paints, she reads. All thanks to Mary. Mary is one of our specialist nurses. It's because of Mary she started speaking again. Well, she whispers, but sometimes. When Carter and the nurse enter the room, Gabby does not acknowledge him. She just keeps painting. She is painting spyglass and spyglass only. And below that painting, she writes, home. Carter approaches Gabby and he tries to tell her, I met your father the other day. He talked about you. I met your mother too. Gabby does not respond, but she drops her paintbrush. Carter picks it up and all three of them hears footsteps and the door opens. Mary is here. Carter sees Mary and he goes pale. And Gabby whispers, run, rabbit, run. Then Mary bolts out the door, down the stairs, through the crowds, straight into the parking lot, and she rushes into her car, a red Mini Cooper. She pushes her car to start, and there was Carter, breathless, desperately trying to get in her way. Mary looks at him, and she puts her foot on the pedal. If he didn't leap out last minute, he would have probably died. You might be wondering, why is Carter doing this? Why is he chasing a random person, a random nurse? Because to Carter, Mary is no stranger. They have kissed before. Oh yeah, before Birdie, Mary was all that Carter had been fantasizing about. Want to know how they know each other? Let me take you back to a few weeks ago. Carter was just chilling at the police station as usual in Hope Falls. It was all peace and quiet until this beautiful woman walked in. Mary walked in. That day, Mary tells him that she feels a little scared here in Hope Falls. She feels like someone is watching her outside her house. She just moved here. She's scared. And Carter, having lived here his entire life, tells Mary there's nothing to worry about. Hope Falls is not where bad things happen. And they keep talking and talking. And then he leans in and he kisses Mary. A while later, she pushes him off and she leaves the station. From that point, they have never spoken again. Mary has a long blonde hair. She's petite. She looks like she's in her 40s. She's beautiful. And when she came into that station that day, she introduced herself as his new neighbor in Spyglass and told him, "Hi, I'm Eden Fox." So right now, in the present time, Carter is chasing her because seeing Mary is like seeing a dead person coming back alive. Seagulls were literally feeding off your face and you are here. What is going on? Carter, felt guilty before this. Like maybe he shouldn't have kissed Eden. He should have done more. But it seems the Eden that he knew was never the real Eden Fox. The real Eden Fox was the body at the bay. The real Eden Fox is dead. But why would Mary pretend to be her? And why would Harrison go along with this with Mary? So he runs back to the manor, demanding to speak with Gabby again. But the nurses are like, no, you're not going to do that because Gabby reacted badly to that. We are not going to let you see her again, but you can come to our office. We can show you Mary's employment file. Turns out Mary used to work for an elderly woman who lived by the bay. When she passed, Mary came here. Many people liked her, especially Gabby. And it's because of her that Gabby started speaking or whispering in 10 years. I mean, Mary, you are hella good at your job. First few words in 10 years, just after months of working together. Girl, wow. Carter is at the manor getting hit by a truckload of information and luckily not getting hit physically by Mary. Birdie is at the pub wondering where he is. Imagine spending the night with someone and that person sneaks out early in the morning without a note, without a text, whatever. It's kind of like, why'd you do that? You leave bad taste in my mouth, huh? So Birdie thought maybe she could like ask the sister or talk to her, Maddie, to just get a feel to see if Carter is that type of guy. Birdie asks, "Hey Maddie, I haven't been able to get to Carter. Is there a girlfriend like who keeps him up at night and makes him late for work?" That's not like him, but no jealous girlfriends to worry about, Birdie. Just his wife. It's at this point that I grew a huge disappointment towards Carter, okay? Like, take my word for it. I think that Carter is a great guy, but how can a man so sweet and run so slow do this with two different women? We'll find out more about Carter and this whole situation soon, okay? Right now, Birdie is shocked, but she can't tell Maddie that, "Oh my God, I've been sleeping around with your brother." No, she focuses on work and she listens to the last interview recording that Carter did before she joined the case. This last interview was of Carter and Stu. Stu is one of the villagers. The reason why he interviewed Stu was because he was the last person on paper to ever see a woman running up the cliff the same time that Eden ran up that cliff. I want you to picture Stu as an old man who wears old billabong, quicksilver surf tees and pants, and he loves to surf. And looking at him, your first impression might be like, "Oh, I think like you a hippie, like you might be a little bit of a hippie." But no, he got a perpetual frown. Like he hates people. If he could quit human language and start speaking dogs, he would. In the recording, he is agitated. Like he wants to leave. He does not want to talk to Carter. But he tells him he doesn't care about the exhibition or getting to know Eden or the new family in Spyglass. Like he just wanted to be home with his dogs. He continues, "I saw the woman. Yeah, she was running up towards the self-exit spot at the crack of dawn. She looked very upset. Like she had been crying. When I got up there, she was gone." Carter asks, "But you didn't see her jump?" "No. Can I go now?" Christ on a bike. If you want to know more about what happened, why don't you ask the other woman? She ran up the hill behind her. Although this is recorded and Carter gave this Walkman to Birdie, he didn't tell Birdie that there was another person following Eden just before she died. This is crucial information. This could mean that they have a killer in this town, and Carter hid this from Birdie. She needs answer now, and Carter is not picking up his phone. So, who is it? What do you want? Stu opens the door and Birdie got some questions to ask. Birdie steps into his house and Birdie sees 3 dogs. Stu got 3 dogs. Is this important for the story? Are these dogs potential killers? No. But I'm gonna tell you, he got a Labrador, a hot dog, and a pug. Oh my God, that is so cute. I can totally understand why he doesn't want to be around people, okay? Birdie sits down and she asks the same line of questions again. He answers almost the same, that he saw a woman running up the hill at the crack of dawn. When he got there, nobody was there anymore. Birdie asks, "What about the other woman? When you spoke with Sergeant Carter, you said that there was another woman running up the hill too." "No, I never said that." Oh my God. You are making my head spin. I saw a woman, just the one, running up the hill. How many times do I have to repeat myself? After the meeting with Stu, Birdie has to at least consider that Stu might not be a reliable witness. This is the reason why Carter chose not to tell Birdie, because he knows that Stu tends to misremember things, but she doesn't know that. She needs to be sure, so she goes back to the pub and interviews Maddie. Birdie starts, "So tell me about Stu. Do you know if Stu likes to make things up?" Well, there's not much to say. Stu is old. The clue is actually in his name. Sometimes his memory might play some tricks on him. He is a good person though. "And where's your brother? He's not in for work today." "And why are you asking me that? You should ask my brother." Now that I think about it, my brother has nothing but good things to say about you. My brother is a hardworking, honest, decent man. You? I'm not so sure. Plus, why would a place like this needs some senior detective from London? The job should have gone to Carter. I think that this place was perfectly fine without you. We don't need someone like you here. Well, that's awkward, but Maddie is very protective of Carter, and maybe when Birdie was asking about Carter, it came off as potentially accusing Carter of something. But I don't think that was the intention. It just sounds like she's concerned with a dash of jealousy, if you ask me. All in all, now Birdie has her answer. Maddie does not like her, and Stu is an unreliable witness, but she can't help but wonder, what else is Carter hiding from her? So she heads to Carter's office, the actual police station, and somehow it's unlocked. Which is crazy, but Birdie takes her time to check the files related to this case, and the door flies open. It's Harrison Wolf. He is screaming and shouting. His face is blood red. He looks like he's about to off someone. Where is he? Where is Sergeant Carter? He dares and go and interview my daughter. I told you that she has nothing to do with this. I told him that she was not to be disturbed. You gave me your word that she would be left alone, and now I'm getting calls that my little girl has been interrogated. Harrison wants a formal complaint made about Sergeant Carter, which is exactly what Birdie feared. Birdie tries to calm him down, telling him that she would deal with Carter herself and asking if his daughter is okay. Of course, she's not okay. I already gave you everything that you needed twice, and you guys come to my house and treat me as if I'm guilty or something. I am the victim here. This is your fault. You should have done your job. Hold on a second, guys. Birdie is not built. I don't think anybody should be built to be spoken to like that. Even if Birdie were to live forever, she would never tolerate this behavior or tone. Birdie screams back at Harrison. You need to calm the fork down. Seeing you here, perhaps we should talk about your job, if it's even real, if it can even predict someone's death. Immediately, Harrison's face goes from anger to disgust, even though he knows that Birdie is going to die. Like, he genuinely doesn't care. Like, why would he care about a random detective? He cares about nothing but his daughter and his company. He tells her, this is about my daughter. We're gonna talk about my daughter. Oh, that's right, Mr. Wolf. I'm sorry. I thought that this was about your wife going missing. You coming in here screaming about your daughter looks a lot like deflecting to me. She is safe and sound. There was a body found at the bay yesterday, and you didn't even pick up your phone. I think you are acting suspicious. Then there was a long silence, and he asks, if you found my wife, why haven't you asked me to identify her? Birdie answers, because Mr. Wolf, there is not enough left of the woman that we found to be identified. Harrison goes pale, and then, everything okay? Carter asks. Both Birdie and Harrison look at Carter, and she speaks. No, Carter, you are off the case. You are suspended. Carter is suspended before he could even tell Birdie what happened at the manor. So he goes for a walk. What can he do? He just goes for a walk around the village, and he finds himself trailing the same path that Eden supposedly taken just before she died. And he just stands there at the top of the cliff. It's a nice spot, to see the sunset. And then he spots something reflective on the ground. A keychain. Eden on one side and Love You to the Moon and Back on the other side. Eden, the crazy woman who he arrested. Carter thought that she was crazy and that she was not the real Eden Fox. But Mary is not even who he thought she was. He doesn't know what to think, okay? But he's suspended, so he heads back to his house. Now, being suspended means that Carter could lose the job that he loves, and he could also lose this home. He loves this little cottage that he has. He bought it with a tiny deposit and a huge chunk of mortgage, but this is his home. He still remembers the day that he bought it. He celebrated so hard that he couldn't even remember what happened the night before. He also couldn't recall how there was a woman on his bed. Not a nice thing to say, but Carter tells us that this girl was not his type. And he didn't plan on texting her or calling her after that. But she called him 2 months after, telling Carter that she was pregnant. Carter was raised to do the right thing. This woman, she wanted to keep the baby, so Carter supported her decision because it was the right thing to do. Jane wanted to move in together with the baby, so Carter supported her decision because it was the right thing to do. Jane wanted to get married to be a proper family, so Carter supported her decision because it was the right thing to do. And by always doing the right thing, almost everything in his life feels wrong. He feels trapped in this marriage, but he loves his little girl. He has a daughter. I think the daughter is maybe like 1 to 3 years old. Back to the present day, Carter does not want to lose this home. Maybe suspensions means like some time off. Maybe he could still get paid and pay his mortgage. He takes out his phone to send a text to his buddy at the HQ asking, "Hey, how are you? By the way, I got suspended. Funny story. I just want to ask, can a senior detective do that? Just want to know where I stand. Hope to hear from you soon. And please don't tell anyone." He puts down his phone. He slots in his key and enters his home with Jane and his daughter. "Luke, is that you?" "Jane, I want you to picture Lily Reinhardt, okay? She's effortlessly beautiful. She wears messy brown hair in a bun. Denim, okay, I'm going to butcher this. Dugares, okay. Okay, the denim thing over a Brenton top with apron over. She wears slippers that's shaped like animals. She hasn't been putting a lot of effort into how she looks since the birth of their daughter. I mean, can you blame the woman? Their cottage is clean, but it's not as clean and tidy as Carter keeps the police station. So this likely means that he is barely home and that Jane takes care of the house and the baby. In my head, their home is like Bilbo Baggins' home, you know, like it's like messy, but it's fun messy. It's family messy. Everywhere you see, there are memories of family. There are a lot of photos of babies, of them together. There are a lot of toys. It just feels like a family home. Okay. Carter goes to give his daughter a kiss. Then he goes over to the kitchen to kiss his wife. He says, out of habit. And then he helps prepare the table. And Jane tells him that someone is joining them for dinner. When he asks who, Jane tells him, "Your new boss. She came here looking for you, you know. She said she tried to call you and you didn't answer. And to be honest, I am also so worried for you, my love. You have been working way too hard. And I know that you have been worried about your boss, so I invited her over." Jane goes and opens the door, and there stands Olivia Bird, Carter's boss, and the woman he has been sleeping with. They sit down and they get ready to have dinner. And here is where I have a problem, a pickle with Birdie. Listen, Jane does not look threatened by Birdie. Jane should not have to worry about Carter because a wife should be able to trust their husband. So it makes sense. I am by right just his boss. That is what Birdie's thinking. As Jane is serving dinner, so she cooked this like homemade lasagna. She's just like, "Oh, apologies in advance. I'm not like the world's best cook." Birdie hears that and she thinks to herself, well, you know, looking at her, I am not convinced. She's the world's best anything. Maybe like a world best mother. Oh, homemade lasagna? I mean, depends on the home and who's making it. That is what Birdie's thinking about. I mean, like, girl, Birdie, girl, you gotta hold up. I think in situations like this, most people can't help but compare themselves to the other person. I think it's natural to compare, but also if you really think about it, why? Why must you compare? If someone gets into a situation like that without knowing the truth, because that is exactly what's happening to Birdie, it's Carter's fault. I got some pretty strong opinions about this, as you can see. If you got some strong opinions on this too, you let me know, girl. Pardon me. I'm just going to go off a little bit of a tangent, like just 10 seconds, okay? Let me tell you, recently there was a case where 2 married influencer level, high profile people were caught cheating together. And somehow people started dogging on their spouses, making fun of the spouses, saying like, oh, you can't even keep your spouse happy. That's why they did that. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? If someone wants to cheat, they're gonna find a way to do it. To circle back to Carter, he's a good person. He has a great heart. However, always doing the right thing has not only hurt him, but also those around him. Back to the dinner. As they are having their meal, Jane tells Carter to bring Birdie around town because Day of the Dead parade is happening today and she should totally join. Jane would love to join, but she has to take care of their daughter. Then, at the mention of their daughter, Jane leaves the dining room to check on her. That's when Carter starts begging Birdie not to tell Jane anything. To him, this was just a marriage of convenience. Jane was a mistake, but he loves his daughter. He tells Birdie this, but Birdie was never going to tell Jane anything. She continues, I met your daughter. You should be grateful. You have a family. People would die for what you have here. But yeah, your daughter is beautiful. And anyway, you are not really suspended. I said that in front of Harrison because he was so angry. So tell me, how did it go? Was it a waste of time? And at that, Carter lights up and he starts telling Birdie everything. He pulls out Mary's employment documents, shows it to Birdie. He shows her Eden's Instagram with Mary's face on it and the keychain. Birdie asks, okay, so what you are saying is, let me get this straight. You think that there was more than one wife and that Harrison and Mary pretended that Mary was Eden. If that was the case, where is the real Eden Fox? Carter says yes, and he suspects that Harrison and Mary might have gotten rid of the real Eden Fox, or at least tricked her into self-exit. He continues, I think the body that we found on the beach is the real Eden Fox. We have already sent her hairbrush to ID her, so we just have to wait right now. And Birdie's looking at him like, I'm proud of you. Like, wow, you got this much done without me. But then again, why would Harrison goes along with this? Birdie tells Carter, well, after everything that you just find out, we have to speak with Mary. But before we do that, we have to take this to Harrison. Really? Carter is like, okay, I mean, like, I'm not sure about this because you told him that I was suspended and then now we want to go to his house with me and tell him that you're guilty. But Birdie tells Carter, yes, we need to question him again right now tonight. After they finish dinner, Birdie and Carter leave. As soon as they leave the front door, they see so many people with their face painted as skeleton. They're dressed in costume, hand holding a torch. They are getting ready for the Day of the Dead parade. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Day of the Dead parade. Okay, now let's talk about the Day of the Dead parade. Over here where I am, we don't really celebrate that. If anything, we only celebrate Halloween. But in Hope Falls, they don't celebrate Halloween. They only celebrate the Day of the Dead because about 100 years ago, there was an abandoned ship that showed up around this time at the bay. When the villagers saw the ship, they went inside and saw that there was nobody, not a single soul inside that ship, but there was a family dinner prepared in the dining room inside the abandoned ship. Candles lit, food is still hot. People suspected that those people inside the ship just vanish. Maybe these people's souls are lost. So the people of Hope Falls made it a tradition to always celebrate the Day of the Dead to make sure that the lost souls in Hope Falls are not forgotten. So every single year during the Day of the Dead, they would dress up in costume, paint their faces as skeletons, hold their flaming torch, and parade all the way from the village to the bay, to the exact spot where they found the abandoned ship. Then they would throw in their torches and make a huge bonfire. During this day of the year, the rest of the town is very empty, while the rest of the village is busy drinking at the pub and getting ready for the parade. Harrison is in Spyglass at home packing. He is getting ready to leave, okay? He is starting to get annoyed because while he's packing, his other phone keeps ringing. Only Mary knows that this phone exists. He has no time to answer or talk to her. He has to leave Hope Falls right now. But he would regret not picking up Mary's calls because Mary texted him telling him that she cannot do this. After seeing Carter, she cannot do this alone. And she's coming back to Hope Falls right now. And she sent that text about an hour ago. Mary is here. Not long after, Birdie and Carter arrive in Spyglass, and Carter immediately sees the red Mini Cooper that Mary tried to run him over with. And seeing this here not only means that Mary is here, it also means that Mary was Birdie's grandmother's caretaker before she died. Birdie's grandmother's caretaker used to always park her red Mini Cooper in this exact spot. So that means that Mary's previous employer, an elderly woman by the bay, was Birdie's grandmother. And after she died, Mary went to work at the manor with Gabby, two different people, both with connection to Spyglass. Interesting, right? So keep it in mind. Harrison opens the door, and his first few words, "I thought he was suspended." Birdie ignores him and asks to go in, but Harrison is done. He is running out of time. He wants to leave right now. He tells Birdie to speak with his lawyer, and she tells Harrison, "Mr. Wolf, we know who Mary is, where she works, and we know that you went along with the plans. Sergeant Carter has uncovered sufficient evidence to arrest you right here, right now. So we can either talk inside or we can arrest you right now. Your call." Oh my god. Then Birdie and Harrison have this like staring competition to see whose pee-pee is bigger. This is not the first time, okay, that they did this in front of Carter. And Carter, like last time, was just standing there like, "Okay, if anyone asked, I'm still here. Hi." But eventually Harrison caves, and as soon as Birdie and Carter step into Spyglass, it's not warm, it's cold, it's damp. It feels like it's going to be abandoned again. And this brings up even more memories for Carter. He hates Spyglass. No, he hates Birdie's grandmother. He hates her for selling the pub. Birdie's grandmother never had to work a day in her life. When she decided that she ran out of money, she simply went and told Carter and his family through a solicitor that she needs money. So she's selling the pub for a high price. And Carter wanted to talk to her about how much the pub meant to his family and that the price was set too high. His parents couldn't afford it. But Birdie's grandmother didn't even open the door. Then his parents left and his mother got diagnosed with cancer. She was so heartbroken, and stressed that it manifested physically. Birdie's grandmother didn't understand the notion of working for what you want. Probably because her family stole others' fortune. Rumor has it that Birdie's ancestor arrived the same time that abandoned ship arrived in Hope Falls at the bay 100 years ago. On this day, Day of the Dead, the ship was void of valuables when the villagers went to check. Carter and many in this village thinks that Birdie's ancestor stole others' fortune and moved the stolen goods into spyglass through the tunnels, and since they had so enjoyed life without having to work in their entire generations, how unfair. Carter snaps back to reality and his phone rings. He fishes it out of his pocket and he sees a text from HQ. Carter says, "The result is inconclusive. They say that they cannot conclude it's Eden Fox that we found on the beach. I was so sure. How is this? They say that the DNA sample does not match the hairbrush that we found. But now they have requested and are still waiting for dental records. So we can wait." Harrison jumps to that. Well, so seeing that text from HQ, that means there's no need for your visit now, right? Thanks for popping in, but you cannot arrest me if she's not dead. And Carter cuts him off. "Mr. Wolf, they're still waiting for dental records. We might still be able to ID her." "Good luck with that. She didn't have any teeth left," Harrison Wolf tells Carter and Birdie. How does he know that? How does he know that the body at the beach does not have any teeth left? And Harrison hates that face. That Carter looks at him like he's guilty. Harrison tells Carter, "You don't know anything. You pathetic little prick. You should be more careful. You might be dead soon. It happens to someone someday, every day, every hour, every minute, every second. Look at you, Sergeant Carter, playing dress up like the rest of the losers in this village tonight. Except your costume is a police uniform. Sergeant Cockup would be a better fit. You are nobody. You are nothing, Carter. And you, Mr. Wolf, are a gold-plated butthole. If you won't tell us the truth, maybe we should just arrest your freak of a daughter and question her again." At that, Harrison lunges at Carter, and Birdie is looking at Harrison like, "What are you doing? Like, who are we playing? Oh my God, he is fit. He's taller than you, he's younger than you, and he's more fit than you. Why are you fighting him?" But eventually, she puts herself in between them and asks them to stop. She arrests Harrison and asks Carter to go wait for her at the front door. Okay, so they do that. Now that Harrison and Birdie are alone, he's handcuffed. She's restless. She does not know how to go from here. She keeps pacing back and forth until she sees a photo and her face goes pale. It's an old photo of Gabriella when she was 8, just before the accident. There is a reason why Birdie didn't want Carter to see Gabriella, because Birdie knew Gabriella. So let me take you back 10 years ago, before Gabby's accident, when Birdie was not the Birdie that we know now. 10 years ago, Birdie was about like 30 years old. She just got promoted to be a junior detective, a step closer to her dream, to being the youngest DCI in the country. To celebrate, she thought that it would be nice to go out for drinks with her colleague, so they did. But somewhere in the middle of the celebration, they got a call saying that a girl had gone missing. Every single police officers in that area were alerted. They were all looking for her. Birdie, being dedicated and very good at her jobs, knew that 48 hours is too long. It's too long to find a missing person alive. Birdie had to be the first person on the scene. She drove faster than she should have with alcohol in her system. She thought that she felt sober enough to do so, but there was so much rain. That day was gloomy and cold, and no child should have been out there alone. She needs to find the missing girl right now. And just as Birdie was turning to where Gabriella lived, her phone rang. And seeing the caller ID, she knew she had to answer. She looked at her phone for maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and then she was too late. She was too late when she hit the brakes. She was too late and too slow, because Gabriella's bike was under the car and Gabriella was lying there on the road like a broken doll in front of Birdie. And there Birdie was. She couldn't move. She couldn't breathe. Just her, Gabriella, and the flashing bullets winking at them in the rain. Gabriella was in a coma for months after, and Birdie thought that she had killed her. She couldn't even go see Gabby or tell her how sorry she was because Harrison would just glare at her with nothing but hatred. So Birdie stayed away, but Birdie never forgave herself. From that day forward, she didn't drive a car anymore. She didn't drink anymore. She kept to herself, and she lost her family, her friends, and everyone that she cared for because they looked at her differently. And to be honest, she looked at herself differently. And 10 years later, she's still paying for it. Harrison sees everything through Birdie's eyes. He knew Birdie would remember. He was there. Carter, on the other hand, is still at the front door. Okay, he has no idea what's going through Birdie or Harrison's head right now. All he hears is the waves. It's eerily quiet. Where they are, it's almost midnight. He checks his phone again, and he missed a call from Jane. But he doesn't call back. But he does check the message from his friend in HQ. The message says, "Carter, long time no speak. What are you talking about? She can't suspend you. She does not work for the police anymore. She took early retirement from her job in London a few months ago. HQ is still looking for a senior detective to work in Hope Falls. We should catch up soon." So that means that Birdie is not Carter's boss. What is Birdie doing here if she is retired? Okay, guys, we are approaching the end. How are you feeling right now? Tell me, how are you feeling? By the way, you might be wondering, girl, you started the episode saying that Birdie's gonna die in a few days, but it feels like it's been more than a few days. No, really, like it feels long because they have got a lot going on there. Midnight hits and Birdie's phone rings. It's an alarm that she has set today. It's the first moment of November 2nd, and this means something to Birdie. Everyone talks about Halloween. Everyone in Hope Falls talks about the Day of the Dead, but nobody talks about All Souls Day. It's a day after the Day of the Dead, and it's a time to remember family members who have crossed to the other side. And this year's All Souls Day means something to one person in Hope Falls, Birdie. A flashback to a few months ago when Birdie got her date of death from Thanatos. Thank you for joining Thanatos family. We all have a right to know when our last day will be, and now you can live your best life every day until the day you die and make any arrangements with peace of mind. Do be sure to contact us if you need any further information. You will find your confirmed date of death below. Olivia Bird, November 2nd, 2025. We wish you a happy death day. Olivia Bird is going to die today. Okay, I know that they didn't do this in the book, but we are going to ramp things up here at the Midnight Library. We're going to do a countdown. T minus 30 minutes. Birdie is going to die in 30 minutes. The clock is ticking, but we still have so many unanswered questions. So let's not wait. Let's go back to Spyglass. The whole house is quiet. You hear nothing but waves in the distance, but the air is not peaceful. Carter hears a noise from the back of the house. He follows it, and he finds himself in the library of Spyglass. A book is on the floor. He remembers that book. This is the same book that Birdie's grandmother died reading, Frankenstein. He picks it up, looks at the shelves, and he sees a lever. He pulls it, and he does the same thing that Harrison did. He pushes the door open. He turns the knob. And behind that door was the tunnel that he has been talking about his whole life. He's probably shocked in a good way and in a bad way. It's like finding that unicorn actually exists. And then Carter's head starts bleeding. before he can even see who hit him, he blacks out. While Carter is lying unconscious in the library, Harrison is getting ready to leave Spyglass. T-minus 25 minutes and even more unanswered question. How is Harrison getting ready if he was arrested by Birdie? Did he hit Carter? Where is he going? Why is he doing this? So let me tell you a little bit about Harrison and what he's thinking about right now as he's getting ready to leave this life behind. For the past 10 years, Harrison had been unhappy with Eden. His wife thought that he was going through some midlife crisis. That's why Eden called his Porsche a midlife crisis car. But he bought that car because he worked hard for his money. Also, if he were to be honest with himself, yes, Eden, I am having a midlife crisis. His life fell apart the moment that Gabby got into that accident. He was desperate to find out how much time he got left with his own daughter that he dedicated all his time into Thanatos. And then, all of a sudden, he died one evening at his office. Harrison Wolf died, and good thing he was quickly sent to the hospital, and the moment that he was brought back to life by the doctors, they told him that his life expectancies was going to be short if he didn't manage his stress. Harrison was angry. What are you talking about? Life expectancies? I had a date. He used Thanatos to calculate his date of death, and it was not supposed to be that day. Years of work, and he can't even get his date right. He tried Thanatos on himself again and again, and each time he got a different date and time. This is the reason why Thanatos has a target audience. They only target people who are going to die soon. This is why it's not available for the public. If they know for certain that their clients are elderly or have cancer with horrible diet and unhealthy habits, their prediction would be very accurate. Then they will also track and monitor every single activity and conversations from their clients' devices to make sure they have all the information that they need. With this, Harrison Wolf has almost perfected Thanatos. He was so damn close. Then he saw Olivia Bird in his office in his clinic. After all these years, after what she did to his family, he decided he was going to handle her case himself. He went through her files, listened to a conversation, and tracked her activities, and November 2nd, 2025 is her date. What Harrison doesn't tell people is that he is not 100% confident that today would be Birdie's last day. He has confidence in Thanatos, but if he were to be honest with himself, he no longer believes in the purpose of Thanatos. What would you do if you knew that tomorrow would be your last day? Best case scenario, you spend it with the people that you love. But what about people with unfinished business? There is always a possibility of someone inflicting pain onto another person with more time left than them. That is exactly why Harrison didn't believe in Thanatos anymore. And that is why he sold the company earlier today before Carter and Birdie came over. But he insists he did not kill his wife. He wanted to kill her, but he didn't. With the fortune that he has now after selling Thanatos, he wants to spend the rest of his life with Gabby. T-minus 20 minutes, Harrison grabs his bags and all his belongings, throws it into the red Mini, and he drives off to the manor with Mary. Siri, call the manor. It's Harrison Wolf. I need you to pack my daughter's things and get her ready. I'm coming over to collect her now. I'll be there in an hour. And he hangs up. 5 minutes later, his phone rings. Hi, Mr. Wolf. This is the manor. I'm sorry. I'm afraid we are unable to locate your daughter. She's not in her room. What are you talking about? Where else could she be? Check again. And he hangs up. And then someone taps him on the shoulder from behind the driver's seat and whispers in his ears, "Love you to the bone and back." Who is that? Who is that? Why whispering in my ear? Let's go back to Carter. Okay. Carter regains consciousness 10 minutes later. All he hears at first is a whisper. Carter, can you hear me? Open your eyes if you can hear me. Carter opens his eyes and Birdie is kneeling next to him. Then he remembers he got hit in the head after finding the tunnel. What he doesn't know is that Birdie has only 10 minutes left. Where's Harrison? Where's Mary? We need to go get them right now. I got hit in the head. Carter, you don't need to worry about them anymore. It was me. I hit you. I'm sorry. I want you to know that we are at the end of it all. And I should let you know that I knew Mary. I also knew everything. I knew that she worked for my grandmother. My grandmother promised her a spyglass. That's why she kept working for her until she died. But my grandmother didn't keep her word. She gave a spyglass to me. She should have gave it to Mary. She wanted spyglass and she was willing to do anything to make sure spyglass was hers. Gabby and Harrison had no idea until they got closer. What are you talking about, Birdie? You don't have to understand, Carter. That's what I'm trying to say. I wish I have the time to explain everything, but I don't. Just follow the tunnel and you will be fine. Mary told me that my grandmother said I got trapped here when I was a kid. And my mom blamed my grandmother for it. That's why I was in the foster care after my mom, When I got out of the tunnel, I still remember I saw the ocean and a bird, a swallow bird. So do that and you'll be fine, Carter. Just follow the tunnel and the sound of the waves. I am almost out of time. She leans in and kissed Carter on the lips. It was not passionate. It was not hunger. It was slow and gentle, like a goodbye kiss, like a kiss asking for forgiveness. And she pulls away and she says, I just needed a kiss. Good luck. Goodbye, Carter. And she slams the door shut. She has now 5 minutes left. And for the entirety of those 5 minutes, all she hears is Carter banging on the door, asking more questions. What do you mean you're out of time? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? What? Let me out right now. What the fork is the deal with you, Harrison, Mary, and Eden Fox? So she tells him everything. Her life in the past 10 years would be Olivia Bird's last words on this planet. After Birdie received the letter from Thananos, she knew she had to go see one person, and that person is Gabby. Considering that she was the police officer who destroyed Gabby's life, we can imagine why she wanted to say her goodbye, right? But that is not even the full story. So let me take you back a few months ago when Gabby just moved to the manor and Birdie went there to see her. When Birdie arrives at the manor, she's attended to by a nurse called Mary. Mary tells Birdie, you know Gabriella can't speak. She was in a coma for 6 months after the accident, but she's a tough little girl. She paints to express herself. Like when she is sad, she paints a wolf. When she's scared, she paints a fox. When she's happy, she paints a bird. We are all secretly confident that she might speak again one day. Sometimes it just takes a trigger. And Mary opens the door and there was Gabriella Wolf. Last Birdie saw her, she was just 8 years old. And now she's a young woman. Seeing Gabby means all the devastations, regrets, and memories flooding back to her. Birdie starts to cry and then Gabby turns to look at her and Gabby whispers to Birdie, Mommy. And Birdie tells Carter, I run to my daughter and I hold her, wishing with all my broken heart that I had not let her go. Birdie hates her mother for leaving her in this world all by herself since she was just 10 years old. But Birdie also hates herself for doing the same thing to Gabby. Birdie right now wants to make up for lost time, so she would keep visiting and Birdie would become the trigger for Gabby. Every single time Birdie visits, Gabby would whisper another word, another clue of what truly happened to her 10 years ago. She still loves Birdie. She hates Eden for a reason. We got maybe like 2 minutes left right now, so let's go straight into Gabby's perspective right now, okay? Yes, 10 years ago, Birdie was a different person because she had a family, she had friends, and she was working her dream career. She was a workaholic just like Harrison. they were married. When Birdie and Harrison had Gabby, they hired a nanny, and that nanny turned out to be Eden Fox. Birdie was so grateful for Eden to be around. She was only like 21, but Birdie thought that she was smart and she was reliable until she and Harrison started having an affair. Harrison would go home for lunch and to do God knows what with Eden behind Birdie's back. Gabby loves to play hide and seek, and her favorite hiding spot is inside Birdie's closet. And there she hid after lunch, and she was waiting for one of them to find her, but Harrison and Eden both didn't look for her. They did things on her parents' bed, and Gabby knew that it was wrong. But Gabby was smart. She kept hiding until one of them left. Unfortunately, the person who left was her father, Harrison Wolf. When Eden Fox saw Gabby, she panicked. And she panicked even more when Gabby told her, "I'm going to tell mommy everything." That's when Eden grabbed Gabby and pushed her off the banister off the first floor. Gabby's head landed on the stone floor below, and she laid there for hours like a broken doll. Eden didn't check on her. She didn't call for help. She just left Gabby there to die until it was dark out and she was not dead. In the rain, Eden dragged Gabby's lifeless body onto the driveway leading up to their house and placed the bicycle in front of her. Eden ran back to the house and she waited for the detective to show up. Olivia Bird, she knew that Birdie would come back to make that turn to go to their house. And then Eden heard the siren, the police siren, quickly approaching, and she picked up her phone. She dialed Birdie's number. And then screeching brakes. Eden had timed it perfectly. Birdie took her eyes off the road for maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and she thought that she had hit her own daughter. But in reality, Birdie did nothing to Gabby. It was Eden who broke Gabby. Eden wanted Harrison all to herself, and that's why Eden did what she did. But for 10 years, Eden let Birdie think that that was her fault, and Birdie wanted to kill her. She wanted to push her off that cliff. That's why she pretended to be Carter's boss. That's why she ran up the hill after Eden. When Birdie found out that old Stu was telling Carter that he saw 2 women running up the cliff, Birdie was terrified that he may be able to identify her. But then she was able to establish that old Stu was an unreliable witness. So there was that. Birdie confessed everything to Carter, that after finding out what Eden did, she, Harrison, and Mary wanted Eden gone. The plan was to buy a spyglass, move in, have everyone in the village know Mary as Eden, so the actual Eden feels crazy and they can take everything that she loved away from her. Eden had no family or friends, so it would be easy. When Eden went out that evening, they removed everything that belonged to her, but they just could not find her spare car keys. And somehow Eden was able to break into the house and find it. And then she went to see Gabby, but Gabby was never going to recognize her as her mother. While Eden was driving mindlessly after visiting the manor, Harrison sent a text to the phone that he left inside that car. It was a failsafe. It was a guarantee. With that phone, all 3 of them have a guarantee that they can get Eden back to their plans. When Eden got back to Hope Falls, Birdie was waiting for her. Eden didn't even see Birdie run up the hill behind her. She was frantic and Birdie was going to do it. Carter interrupts. "So you're saying that Eden jumped?" "We don't know that, Carter. I didn't push her. Harrison didn't. Mary didn't. Maybe Eden just did the right thing for the first time in her life. But she's dead now. The body on the beach belongs to Eden. The forensic team was never going to tie the body to the DNA from the hairbrush that we took from Spyglass, because that hairbrush belongs to Mary. The plan was supposed to be perfect, you know? With Eden gone, Harrison wouldn't have to divorce her with a prenup. Mary wanted Spyglass and she can have it. And I just wanted revenge. And Carter, listen to me. I've got nothing to lose, but I really didn't kill her. It's either someone beats me to it or she did it herself." So, Birdie, you are telling me this whole time you were just pretending to investigate? No, Carter, I really wanted to know what happened to her. I did pretend to be your new boss because I was supposed to steer you in the wrong direction and keep you from finding the truth. I felt really big on that. If that's the case, Birdie, why are you telling me this now? Because, Carter, you have been asking way too many questions, and I think giving you the answer is the only way to make you stop. Harrison and Mary are gone, and I will be dead soon. You are not going to arrest anyone, Carter. You are going to follow the tunnel to the sea and live your life like this never happened. And we have also added something new to the plan. Harrison is going to buy the pup and put it in your name, and he's going to pay off all your mortgages in full as long as you keep your mouth shut and you can reunite with your family again and spend a bit more time with your daughter. Olivia Bird, what you are saying is that you think you can buy my silence? Carter, you told me that you don't ever want to leave this place. Having spent a few days here, I think Hope Falls is the capital of Bumble Fork, and you are the town mayor. But if it floats your boat, whatever, I am just here offering you everything that you have ever wanted, Carter. Goodbye. For what it's worth, I think you are going to make a great detective one day. And Birdie stops speaking because she feels tired. As her eyelids start to feel heavy, she sees a person dressed as a female skeleton walks up to her and whispers, "I hate you." It's T-0. Olivia Bird is dead. Birdie died in the morning of November 2nd, 2025. All souls stay in Hope Falls, the place where she grew up. She died without knowing who pushed Eden off that cliff. Birdie is outlived by her daughter and her ex-husband, who had successfully built a company that not only predicted his own mother's death, but also his ex-wife's death. Would Birdie join her mother in the castle underwater and live there for the rest of eternity as mermaids? We would never have the answer to that because a dead person can't talk, right? So let's go back to Carter right now. As soon as he hears nothing from Birdie, he speeds crawl, Navy SEAL style, out of the tunnel. He sees a bunch of people gathering at the bay for the bonfire. He runs straight up the hill, bursts into Spyglass, and he sees Olivia Bird lying there. She looks like she's gone. And he calls the ambulance. He starts doing CPR anyway. And the whole time he keeps telling her not to die on him. Maybe it was too late, right? If you have watched part 1, you know that Birdie's grandmother is a legend in Hope Falls as the woman who died twice. And to be honest, I feel like there's a pattern here because Harrison died and he came back too. And Birdie would make the record for the third person in this story to die for 7 long minutes, 420 seconds, and then come back alive on the hospital bed. Maybe it was cheating Carter doing CPR on her, but the doctors were like, "Oh my God, what? We did not do this. What? You're supposed to be dead. Don't tell anyone." But how? That was another turning point in Birdie's life because after that, her tumors all reduced in size and she's healthier than ever. Exactly 1 year later, Birdie lives in Spyglass and her daughter visits her from Switzerland once a month. So Harrison and Mary moved to Switzerland. Shout out to you if you live in Switzerland. I don't think that I got any Switzerland viewers, but it would be cool. You know what I'm saying? What am I saying? Anyway, you might be wondering, how did Gabby end up in Switzerland though? So when Carter was chasing Mary, Gabby pretended to panic and she started screaming in her room. Then the nurse gave her something to make her sleep, okay? But the thing is, it doesn't make her sleep like that. So she snuck out of her room, ran into Mary's red Mini Cooper before Mary got into a car, which is wow, she's such a runner, you know what I mean? So fast. And she tucked herself at the back of the car with a blanket. So that means while Mary was playing go-kart with Carter's life, she was in the back. legendary. Gabby only woke up when Harrison called the manor, telling them that he was on the way to pick her up. Then he tapped her father on the shoulder and whispered, "Love you to the moon and back." Because that was how she knew to say, "I love you." She heard him say that to Eden a lot before. So that's why she said that to him then, to let him know she loves him very much. And also, she only painted spyglass when she was at the rehab center because Harrison would always visit and show her photos of spyglass. And he would always tell her, "We're gonna be together soon. This would be our new home." That's why she only painted spyglass. She wants to be home with Harrison, her father. Back to 1 year later in Spyglass with Birdie. To be honest, Birdie's life is great, okay? I believe she's no longer working as a detective anymore. She's like a full-time chill person enjoying life as we should, okay? Everyone's happy and Harrison kept his word. The pup belongs to Carter and his family now. His parents are back and he paid also for Carter's mortgage for his cottage. So everyone's happy. Finally, Olivia Bird tells us, "Nobody can take Gabby away from me now. Harrison loved me once, and he loves Gabriella more than anything and anyone. He never really loved Eden. She was just my husband's wife." But one question remains. Who killed Eden? Who pushed her off that cliff? Who killed my husband's wife? Let me share with you a confession from another my husband's wife. And you figure out who the husband is, who the wife is, because the wife was the one who killed Eden Fox. My husband's wife is an unforgiving woman. It seems strange to talk about myself like that. It's been almost a year since I ran up that hill and nobody knows the truth. My husband, what he did broke me into pieces. How could he make me feel so invisible, even more than before? What he doesn't know is there are consequences to his action. What he did made me more dangerous, and he didn't even know it. Does he know that marriage is a promise? He shouldn't have broke his promise. If people like him didn't go around doing what he did, I wouldn't have done what I did. I dedicated my life to him and taking care of our daughter. I gave up my life and dreams so he can focus on his career. I looked after her. I made our home feel like a real home, but he didn't really appreciate that. He didn't love me. He just used me. He used me for her, his precious little girl. And he thought that he could replace me. I was going to jump that day at that cliff. I was so lost. I was so tired, so confused. I was so upset about everything. I ran past Old Stew. I ran past that hill. I was going to do it. And then I saw her. Eden Fox. Eden Fox seduced my husband and she dared to kiss my husband. I saw everything because I thought that that day it would be nice to surprise him at the police station with his precious little girl and lunch. But no, I was standing outside the police station when I saw them kissing. The petite blonde-haired Eden sitting on my husband's desk and her tongue down his throat. I confronted her at that cliff and she denied everything, saying that someone else is pretending to be her. I was so angry that I pushed her off that cliff. But we are not done yet. There's another, Olivia Bird. He doesn't speak to her anymore. We are a happy family now, very happy. But Carter still doesn't know that I know. All those nights, he came home smelling like another woman's perfume. Then she had the audacity to show up at my door to look for him. So I played nice, I cooked dinner. And when they said that they were joining the parade, I knew that they went to Spyglass instead. So I wore my Day of the Dead costume and went there. But when I got there, she was lying on the floor. She was already dead. Me, Carter, and our little girl are one happy family now, but I'm still watching her. I hate her, and I will not let some other woman steal my husband or hurt my family. People always think it's the husband, but sometimes it's the wife. That is the ending of My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. Wow, I did not see the twist coming, okay? Did you, girl? Did you think that it was gonna be her? Like, did you have more experience reading the book and then you got the clues? I didn't, okay? I was like, mother freaking Jane, girly, you are talking about my beautiful Lily Reinhardt? My love. Lily Reinhardt is so beautiful, but wow, I did not see that coming, not even for a second when I was reading this book. But you know what? They say that the scariest person is often the most quiet one in the room. Except for me, I guess. You know, when I'm in a crowded setting and I'm like super quiet, my brain, zero. Nothing inside. Nada. But hey, never judge a book by its cover, okay? And I will catch you in the comment section